مرحبا إلكي تسعن حدم مسيلكني برهان ناتنت اتوي لكي نجزاي أنتي خليت المات زمن اتوي لكي نجزاي حيس كلي متيخي أرما برست نربع زمن أبلغام بارنت
شما شما بر شما 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 بر شما شما تدالو زبي تدالو سراويت إريترا تدالو معبل فتحي يمتكالو حنقو فايلكا كتكبلو كبر خاتلو تدالو زبي تدالو سراويت إريترا تدالو معبل سلام يمتكالو حنقو فايلكا كتكبلو كبر خاتلو.
Oh, hey! I was wondering when I would see you again. I was just talking to my friend here about Brigade Nahamadu and telling him a little bit more about the Blue Revolution. Matter of fact, I'm going to talk to them. You did it, Brigade Nahamadu! The world is bleeding blue! You have shown people across the globe that through unity, courage, and resilience, change is possible, justice is alive, and a new dawn is on the horizon. Tomorrow marks a historical date that Eritreans across the world will commemorate, a date recognized by vibrant representations of red, blue, green, and yellow. Eritrean Independence Day. What some Eritreans celebrate tomorrow is what I personally like to call incomplete independence.
Yes, it is true that in 1991, we reigned victorious following a gruesome 30-year armed struggle to reign as a free nation. It is also true that in 1993, Ertra was officially declared a sovereign and independent state.
However, how can we, the Eritrean people, claim true independence if no elected government exists? How can we claim independence without rule of land? How can we claim independence without freedom of rights? How can we claim freedom if we cannot freely exist and prosper in our own country? A vast majority of our population have fled Ertra due to massive violations of human rights, oppression, persecution, torture, arbitrary detention, and forced disappearances, forcing millions to live in exile. Yes, Ertra is free from control by a foreign nation, but we Eritreans are still slaves to one man. The Eritrean people broke free from the chains of colonization only to be rechained by the shackles of oppression and slavery under the cruel rule of Isaias Afwerki. At this very moment, Eritreans are fleeing the country every single day, but yet we continue to beat a drum to the claim of independence and freedom, celebrating this so-called achievement in lands foreign to our own. Independence is not measured by a flag or a date. True independence is quantified by one's right to political freedom, liberty to think, work, prosper, and exist freely. This is not the independence our fallen warriors died for. This is not freedom. This is a mockery of the grave sacrifices our forefathers and mothers died for. 100% cost paid with zero return.
Ertra is merely a free land with no free man.
So now, it's time to further educate everyone on a topic that has nearly held all Eritreans captive since its inception as a so-called free nation: transnational repression.
Recently across the world, Brigade Hamadu has sparked discussions centered around transnational repression while bringing major global attention to the sufferings of the Eritrean people. Transnational repression occurs when states reach across borders to silence descendants from activists, journalists, and others living in exile through means of intimidation and violence.
For countless years, dictator Isaias Afwerki has been exporting his repressive tactics abroad, maintaining tight control on Eritreans by roles of diplomatic staff and proxy actors. In response to the Blue Revolution, in this past year, we witnessed the establishment of 4G.
4G, short for Raba'i Gimbar, or Fourth Front, is a militia front created by dictator Isaias Afwerki and radicalist regime supporters in order to counter against opposition existing in the diaspora, who strongly demand for regime change. 4G agents are radical Eritrean nationalists who support, financially fund the authoritarian regime, and serve as Ertra's defense in diaspora. They are individuals who fled Ertra, sought out asylum status claiming their livelihoods were at risk in Ertra, then ultimately turn around after securing their citizenship and support the same regime they risked their lives running away from. It is important to note that 4G is a branch of the Eritrean militia that is currently sanctioned by the US government for human rights violations, war crimes, and genocide.
ኣብ ውሽጥን ኣብ ደገን ዘሎ ህዝቢ ምስ ሓይልታት ምክልኻል ምስ ኩሉ ካልእ ኣካላት ናይ ወፃኢ ከምዚ ወፍሪ ናይ ወፃኢ ዝበሃል ደለ ንሳቶም እውን ኣብኡ ኢና ንሪኦም ነዚ ስእሊ እዚ ዝሞዛይክ እዚ ፈላሊና ንሪአን ኢና ኣብ መወዳእታ ክሳድ መሓዝ ዝበሃል ኣሎ ነዚ ከተግብር ዝኽእል ጉልበት ክልወና ስለ ዘለዎ እቲ ጉልበት በብቦትኡ በብዓቕሙ ክንፈልጦ ኣለና ሓይልታት ምክልኻል መሱኡ ምፍላጥ ጥራይ ዘይኮነ ሓላፍነቱ ጽባሕ ድሕሪ ጽባሕ እውን ኣረጋጊጹ ክፈልጥ ክኽእል ኣለዎ ኩሉ ሰብ ኣፍራዛን ባዴላን ብሓደ ኢድ ተሓንጊጡ ከዓ ጠበንጂኡ ከይድ
Transnational repression against Eritrean justice activists has been witnessed time and time again over the span of decades. In response to the Blue Revolution, Eritrean justice activists are seeing a serious rise in repression efforts by the authoritarian regime and 4G.
Every day, activists face violent threats online, depicting physical harm and even death. Violent attacks have been carried out by 4G agents, leaving justice seekers horribly injured. Video proof shows 4G terrorists devising attacks to target well-known blue revolutionaries, while inciting violence that affects innocent communities. As seen in the most recent riot in Holland, a plan devised by 4G agents to target, scapegoat, and ultimately wrongfully imprison notable revolutionaries like John Black took place. Crimes as a result of transnational repression have cost many lives. Most recently, 2 murders were inflicted by 4G terrorists on Haile Mesfin and Yebrah Afwerki in Israel. Transnational repression poses a serious threat not only to Eritrean justice activists, but also the global community. Terrorists of 4G defense will stop at nothing to defend dictator Isaias Afwerki. A message to the free world. 4G defense poses a serious threat to public peace, safety, and democracy. To protect security and democracy across the world, I strongly urge and implore the US government and other democratic governments to swiftly coordinate a response in order to tackle transnational repression.
Enough is enough. Eritrean justice activists refuse to remain silent as radical nationalists uphold public facade, masking the silent genocide and enslavement that exists within Eritrea. As an Eritrean justice activist, I have witnessed too often the suffering and unending piercing cries of the Eritrean people, both inside and outside the country. We cannot continue turning a blind eye to this grave truth. I call upon the democratic international community to combat the severe threats by foreign evils by means of transnational repression. Our rights to freedom and protection from tyranny are being infringed upon and plaguing havoc on the global community by the Eritrean regime.
Stand in solidarity with the Blue Revolution, a movement fighting for human rights, rule of law, democracy, justice, and peace. Let us together work to protect the pillars to democracy and eradicate tyranny from the free world.
حتى